welcome to this session, webinar on opportunity and challenges in medical devices. I welcome all the participants for joining this webinar, and of course, Mr. Sunil Prabhakar. Uh, Hello, sir. How are you? Am I audible?
Thanks very much, Amit.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're absolutely fine.
yeah,
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Amit. And yeah, I know it was pending from last 1 week
yeah,
because of certain other commitments. I couldn't give the time for the same.
yeah.
Just yes. So which you've chosen is really good
Yeah.
as for the current scenario.
Yes, sir.
Uh, I'll just say introduction first.
Yeah.
Myself, Sunil Prabhakar. I head international business and marketing for BPL Medical Technologies. I'm in the industry for last almost 6 years. Before that, I worked in different sectors. Medical device is something like which is very near to me. So I learned and I excel in this field at this point in time. Currently exporting in almost 28 countries. Yes, there are opportunities and there are challenges as well, no doubt. So if something, uh, if someone, sorry, I think someone is saying something.
Uh, you can ask after sir's whatever he's saying. Just listen, and I will give everyone time to share their questions. Okay. Sir, please continue.
It is something like whenever or any individual started earning, the first thing is I should save something for my healthcare.
Yeah.
I should do something like to have a fixed deposit fund. I should have a medical claim policy if I'm not an employee. So if it's a private employee, it's also still the the company side is not that much as compared to the present scenario. Healthcare, I'm telling healthcare, which is a holistic term, which comprises of your medical devices, farm.
Uh, Please unmute yourself. Who is talking? Please unmute yourself. I will give you time, everyone, to ask their questions. Please, sir. Please continue, sir.
So healthcare in India is like it's a holistic term. So there are many students, which Amit, as you said, pharma is one of the major chunks. Medical devices, we have hospital, clinical trials, we have outsourcing telemedicine,
Yeah.
tourism, healthcare, and medical equipment. So this whole comes under healthcare.
Yes.
And the total turnover business at this point in time is $150 billion, which is expected to grow 50 billion by 2025. And
Yeah.
there are the opportunities from the healthcare side. Growth is almost like 80% growth by 2025.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Please, sir, continue. I don't know what is the voice. Everyone is on mute actually.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
The factors which are giving us this opportunity in terms of business is because now is change of demographics, change of uh, shift in the disease profile. Before decade or decades back, we were not discussing about chronic diseases, heart attack, or diseases. But now discussing about lifestyle diseases, hypertension, blood pressure, increase in the income, increase in knowledge, increase in what we are getting information from outside, or we are getting information every day, getting more side. Simultaneously, healthcare itself, like now many specialty hospitals, we have corporate hospitals, we have private clinics, we have nursing homes, government hospitals. So the demand from their side also increases. Like for making hospital, I'll give you a small example. They spend almost to 40 crores for buying the medical equipments and all other stuff. If I go to it, then it crosses 100 crores for just for 100 bedded hospital. So there is an opportunity. Like if I'm 100 bed hospitals is a very not very nominal thing. So for a 100 bed hospital, so how amount of pharma people we are going to employ, how much amount of equipment we are going to buy, how many tests we are going to do, what about the labs, all those things, then it itself is a business for coming years, year as well. So, why we consider India as an export hub or next destination? I'll give you a simple term. India ranks number 4 in terms of medical devices. Asia number 4th, and India rank 20 world. Yes, uh, there are certain reasons why we are not in under 10 or under 2. Most medical devices or equipments or pharma APIs we import. All in terms of medical equipments we import, and in terms of export we do to foreign, which includes mainly your stunts or consumer or catheters, your surgical products, and yes, medical devices as such. But majorly we import, and we are most dependent. Say it openly, mostly dependent on China, Japan, Korea, Europe. So these are the major 4 5 countries where we import the equipment. In the future opportunity side, if we see India being country, why? Because recently Modi ji and its government has done 100% FDI, which gave a chance like global companies can invest in India to generate the jobs. In turns, it will generate the jobs, and in it will increase.
Sure.
Similar time, like why people choose India? Major reason is the labor cost, high skilled manpower, lesser the cost, and yes, availability of all the things as per our geography. Seaport, if you see from north to south, from east to west, we have seaport connectivity because seaport is something which is economic boost to any country.
Right.
So, which we see in a holistic way. And second, India at this point has 100 million plus people, and it's growing 8% every year. So I, I won't say that way, but yes, it's an opportunity from the hospital side because aging is one of the factor which uh, gave a chance, which gave a boost to the setups, etc. So these are opportunities because we saw we see like there are many hospitals are coming, many pharmaceutical because we are world's number pharmaceutical. We see like we have the maximum number of manforce in terms of hospital side, number of manforce in terms of hospital support side, and yes, we will at least top 10 in the world in terms of medical equipment side in, as per the latest government policies. These are some of the future prospects of medical device, pharma, and other healthcare sector. But yes, there are certain challenges because these are the flip the coin. Like one side, if it's good, other side definitely you have challenges. Challenges regulatory and legal challenges. Second, structure is not convenient. We have one side, we have 1% duty, on other side, we have 10% duty on products. Second, quality of these products, because as I said, most of the time we import. If we import, then automatically that cost will go up to the customer. For capital, high capital equipments, we always import. Any setup in India like CT, MRI, ultrasound, or DR digital X-rays. We all, so these are the high capital equipments, and we have to spend capital on those equipments, which is a very definitely if someone has to lay down some plant or a project, or someone has to start something in India, there are so many red tapes. Still, government has reduced so many uh, uh, things, but still there are red tapes. It takes time to approve, especially in case of Indian manufacturers, is weak IPR, intellectual property right. That's why they think to go and export before that. So, like, there is no, like other equipments or other products, what we import where we have heavy tariffs. But in case of medical devices, tariffs are not that much. I give a simple example why Mr. Trump, he always about his bike Harley Davidson, because Indian 300% duty, almost 150 to 200%. Medical devices, the import thing. That's why they can Harry is importing the equipments. So if government should put some barriers, then we have at least some restriction and we'll get a boost to the local manufacturers in India to manufacture, to think, to products, other than depending on other countries. You can't believe a small, like ECG machine, I'll take an example. So we have the capability, no doubt. Indians are reached up to NASA. They are most of our scientists in NASA are Indians. Biggest, the world's biggest scientist, or I can say, sorry, the doctor cardiologist in US. The biggest cardiologist and critical care expert is in that. Yes, we the opportunities we are not utilizing that part, and we are not over our people. So FDI played a really big role, like 100% FDI. Wants to develop ourselves, we get a chance to move further. Just
Yeah.
a minute. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes. No problem.
So the conclusion is like we have like 130 billion people. So opportunities are there. On the similar side, we have challenges. We can do better, I can say. But yes, certain support which government should do, remove those red tapes. And yes, skill set is something as an Indian, I can say we have to improve. So as I was giving example of ECG device, a small product, the chipset is coming from China. Why we can't make a chipset? At least we most of the devices work on software platform. We are the world's number one in software manufacturing. In terms of device manufacturing, we are number fourth and number 20th. That's something called skill set or a support from the government. To remove barriers, work out on all those barriers, and yes, as an entrepreneur, not I'm not an in India, there are so many entrepreneurs. If they come forward, young people come forward, and they will think these small things we can do, and definitely we will be at least in top 10, at least in top 2 in Asia. I think
Yeah.
this is something which I know from my knowledge, so I've shared. If there is anything from your side, you guys can ask. So I'm happy to help you.
Sir, very much thank you for sharing your valuable experience. It means a lot actually. Practical things need to know. Very much things are then theoretical, but when a practical person says about their experience, it's really helpful. So all participant may be interested in the medical devices, or some are already engaging in this as a business person. So I request
Okay.
all participants to ask their questions. Frankly, you can ask any kind of question in your mind. Mr. Sunil Prabhakar will answer your questions. Please ask your questions. I request all participants to
Thank
ask
you.
their questions. Yeah. Please unmute yourself and ask. You can ask any questions, participants. I request all to ask any questions. So, sir, I want to ask something that what is your
Yeah.
message to new entrepreneurs? See, uh, medical device is a big field. We know that, but the person somewhat like they feel like this is very challenging or very tough procedures or documentation for exporting also. So, how can we plan for exporting? Means how can we target the countries? How we come to know that buyers are there and the demand is there for such kind of product? How can we know that?
So, Amit, it's like, first of all, we have to understand ourselves. As I said, our major challenge is the regulatory. We in India ask whenever we are selling a product or giving a product to any hospital, we never discuss about C and FDA. And doctors also never ask this whether your product is C or whether your product is FDA.
Yeah.
So whenever we do this, in similar way, this is a part of India. But yes, from the government side, corporate hospital side, super specialty hospitals, major nursing homes, ask this whether your product is C, at least C mark. This is in standard. Exports, most of the countries has its own regulatory approvals, registrations. So, especially for perspective, like most, I mean, from the medical devices, very few companies have FDA, Food and Drug Authority. That's why they sell in US and Canada. But most of our manufacturers, see at least, so they are exporting other than US and Canada. And restriction is one of the major part. Whenever there are countries, or I can say in Africa, Kenya, or if I go to Middle East, most of the Middle Eastern countries, private is okay, but in government they will ask for MOH approval, Ministry of Health approval.
Yeah.
You need to register your product. Same with they have a high FDA. If you go to Vietnam, they have something called country has its own registration process, which is a 6 months long cycle. But in India, we don't have that kind of registration. We just have an import registration, which is a 2 days or one week task. That's why we is importing equipment from here and there without knowing the regulatory condition behind that. But for challenges for India is like we have never discussed on the regulatory side before. Yes, because of MDR guidelines, medical directed regulatory guidelines, and CDSO, Central Drug Authorities, they are putting up a guideline. So after next year March, for exporting, for them it will be a big problem. But yes, people, genuine manufacturers, they will get a chance to learn on the next step. And so the countries, how the person can export or different countries. So honestly, BPL also started exporting 4 years back onwards. Never consider Bangladesh and Nepal as an export business. It's like you just cross the road to the different countries. So for export, doing business something to the borders. We are selling equipments in Europe, Asia, Southeast Asia, or our Africa, or Latin or Central America. We consider or Middle East. We consider exports because then you will understand how influential of how affluent you are. So BPL, when it started 4 years back, so opportunity to initiate this business because I was into marketing before. So our CEO gave this opportunity to start the export business. So in 6 months, I just pick and choose. I went to branches in India, went and meet distributors, met many hospitals to understand what they are using, especially BPL. What are the challenges in BPL product? What are the difficulties they are facing? And after from 100 plus products, I reduced it to only 38 products for exports. Now, 130 products, I only export 38 products because I know I'm exporting the top notch and I won't hear any bad mouth from the market. So it took me 6 months' time to understand the market. Then another 6 months' time I took to do in the market. I went to different places, different countries, approved approached our Indian embassies. Yes, our missions in different countries are really helpful. Embassies, so they have the commercial departments in there. You can write to them. They definitely they will share you the details. Whomsoever people have approached them to be importer for medical device from India or pharma products from India. So mission will help you out. Meet the mission people, take an appointment, meet ambassador or excellency or maybe any commercial attache. Then second, yes, I participated in certain conferences where I met those people one on one. It's not a one task because we Indians are very impatient. So we have to in terms of exports. So it's like when in India we start business, comes in the mind is numbers. We have to do numbers. But export that you have to be patient. You have to understand this market. You have to understand the geography, demography. You have to make the product localized as per the your local authorities, local countries. So as in the registration process, it will take your time. So I'm exporting in 28 countries, but still every day is a challenge because government changing the policy, they are laying down the registration more stringently. And the most important thing is the localization. So what happened is like wherever is the English speaking countries, at least a good way, other than US and Canada. But most of the countries US speak, sorry, English speaking, you have to go by their language. I'll start with the Southeast Asia, Thailand. If you go, so you need Thai language. They will understand English, but if you go in the vocal speak, they don't know. In the literature also you need Thai. Same thing if you go any part of Europe other than UK and Scotland, they have their own language. So you need four major languages because Russian speaks almost 26 countries. Complete CIS region, SAR, they all speak Russian. Then you have Spanish, it's widely spoken. Not only in Europe, they speak in Latin America also. Then you have this Arabic, because Arabic is not only spoken in Middle East. In Africa, many countries, Sudan, Ghana, they all speak Arabic, including Algeria, Tunisia. So they all speak Arabic. Indonesia. So you have to be, sorry, Indonesia, I'm sorry. So you have to be your product. The thing is localization only, not only language, but your product also to be localized. Electrical safeties. Just we use it because it's a 220-volt power supply. But in countries like Latin America, Central America, US, and Canada, they have 120-volt power supply. So you have to think of all stuff before going into the market, other than jumping, because we haven't. If someone called us, sir, we need equipment, we made and sent. But we know what are the requirement in that particular country. We should understand that part first, other than jumping and supplying the product. To start, you have ample opportunities. Just think about first Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Pakistan. So, so these four five countries you can start with, and yes, then you have a country like Africa, Middle East. You have an opportunities for product other than non-medical, non-electrical product, medical side like consumables. there is a demand everywhere. Your product should be to the mark, regulatory wise strong, and localization yes to be done properly.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I request all participants to ask their questions. This session is for you guys. Please ask your question frankly. I request everyone. Yeah, Rohan Mitkari, please ask your question. Yeah, anyone, please. Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Nikita, right? I just want to understand business you want to start first. But you have already started. Okay. In terms of pharma, so what's your target? So what's your market? Want to do export also. Most important
Yes,
question,
yes,
Nikita.
yes.
See, as I tell you honestly, domestic market you can manage. But in terms of export, especially pharma, is something like it's stringent than medical devices. The process registration is very long. So uh, I give you a simple example because I know a couple of people, pharma companies who are doing export to Africa because they do Africa. Yes, they are doing like big companies like Sun Pharma and all. They do Southeast Asia also. They have an office in Philippines. They have an office in Russia. They have an office in Ukraine. So they are doing America and all. But smaller distribution type companies or smaller pharma companies. So what they do is there are certain CPH conferences are there, pharma conferences. Go there, participate in this conference, um, meet the buyer because they only approach you. So you should think that way. Couple of markets. Africa is one of the major market because other countries the registration and license is very stringent. And for a distribution company, it's very difficult to get licenses. So from that start, maybe you can check and write to the comment, as I said, write first pick and choose for especially like your company or my company. My first time when I started the business, my market other than Greater Asia, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, I straight away focused toward Africa. So maybe can choose. You can choose. Second, you can write an Indian High Commission. But yes, your email should be very particular because whenever you are writing any email to any High Commission, the language is very particular. Don't write I'm this and that company, I want this and that. No, dear High Commission, dear Excellency, or you commercial attaché email ID also, right? Commercial attaché, other than High Commission. Those people will help you a lot. They will send you, they will give you the email IDs, phone numbers. And third is definitely this is pandemic time. After pandemic, you can participate in one or two conference. You will definitely get a. But keep in mind, if you start today, you can only get the fruit in half 2 years. So if you definitely you have to do country specific conference. There are so many farming conferences. Every conference. So you have to check Farm Expo if you're looking for farmer. And uh, your market first. Decide the market first. What is your medicine? What kind of pharma medicine you are making? Which market you can tap easily? As I said, Africa after Asia, your second market should be Africa because which is easier to tap.
So, any question?
Thank
Any
you.
other
Thank you.
question? See, the meeting will end will within 5 minutes. Please ask your question immediately. Otherwise, you can mail us also. Okay. Sir, excuse me, sir. Can you
Yeah.
provide email ID so that our participant can mail you directly about any kind of queries?
So email ID is better.
Yeah, yeah. Please provide us. Every participants can mail, sir, about your queries. You just need to write. Everyone, I request you to write email ID. Yep.
You can ask openly.
Yeah,
You need to think about whether it's a small question or something very silly question.
yeah, yeah.
Everything is silly nowadays. So don't think about silly question. You can ask whatever
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to ask.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hi.
Please ask. Please ask.
Sir, I'm a father of a student. So don't have interest in export and all. But I want to know that how can we get into medical devices and which kind of and what kind
सीक्वेंस से रोहन मैंने इसी में बात करते हैं मैं कहाँ का शुरू में कि आई एम फ्रॉम अ माइनिंग बैकग्राउंड मैं माइनिंग हूँ बाद मेरा एमपी हुआ है आई हैव लर्नड अबाउट मेडिकल डिवाइसेस मेडिकल इंडस्ट्री इट टुक मी 6 months time to understand the complete modality human anatomy every, so nowadays everything is available on google books you have you can learn all the informations are available.
Is anyone have any
Anyone
kind of
else?
question? Please. Yeah.
Either I have given the complete knowledge or
Yeah.
I have
No,
not
no.
given
You already
any
given sir
information.
complete knowledge. As this kind of things, I think they everyone need to listen actually. Most of the things you already covered, sir, like challenges, opportunities, your experience, what kind of the things need to be focuses for as a new entrepreneur, and also how much challenges you need to face in the future. So this is the great actually opportunity as a medical device in the export already, and you have all have a very good future and very good business opportunity. I oh, I already requesting everyone that you can do your the best in this sector, and anyone has any kind of question, so please mail sir, or otherwise you can mail us also mypharmacareer2 @gmail.com. So I anyone has any kind of question, last 2 minutes, please please ask. Yes, hello. Sunil sir, I think the questions are over. Any candidate can mail you, sir. Yeah,
Many queries you can ask.
yeah,
Because I took almost 1 week time, so this is
yeah.
my penalty as well. You can ask.
You already take sir too much time actually. We have discussing 30 minutes, it's almost 40 minutes. So uh, if anyone has question, please ask. Otherwise, mail us. We have already. We are in connection. We already knows our social handles. Sir, Sunil sir's mail you have, so you can ask. You can ask. No issues about that. So all the best to everyone for their business. And this is the end of the meet. I very much thanks for Mr. Sunil sir for attending this session. And every
Thank you very
participant.
much, Amrit.
Yeah,
Thank you.
every participants also. So this is the end of the
Thank you,
meets.
guys.
Yeah, thank you.